So how many pages should we write? How many words should we write in a book? Well, if you are doing a how-to book, I would recommend that you do a smaller, thinner, less word book. So for a how-to book, I would say that your finished product should be between 250 and 350 words. So for instance, this one's around 218. This is a how-to book. Let me see. This is a workbook. It's a little different kind of format. It's got a lot of pages that they're going to be writing things in. But this one is 191. Okay, so I'm recommending between 150 and 250 because when somebody wants to do a how-to book, they're hoping to learn a lot of information, but they might get overfaced. If you show them a big thick book like this one here, very thick book, they're gonna think, wow, that's kind of overfacing, and you know, they want to learn a lot, but they don't really want to spend a lot of time learning it. So they want to look at it and go, oh yeah, I could master what I'm supposed to be learning. It doesn't look like it's going to take me a lot of time. These are little how-to books that I made. These are little mini pocket books I made. I actually made them in a couple of different sizes, but they're both small and thin. These are how-to books as well, but these are pocket books, so these have a lot less pages. This one is 85 pages, single subject. So when people are looking to learn something, they want a lot of facts. They don't want fluff. They don't want a lot. They want explanation, but they want it to be to the point. So they want to feel like, oh, I could learn a lot, and it's not going to take me a lot of time. So that's why you want them to be thin, small books. If you are writing a novel, it's completely the opposite. Person is looking for hours and hours of entertainment, and so they're looking for something that is a fat book. Now, closest I have to that would be my Running with Wolves book, which is it's a true life story, but it's not a how-to book. So this would be an entertainment book. This would be it's a comedy. You're meant to read this and have fun. It's meant to be entertaining, not really enlightening, not really a message book. It's more of a fun book. This one's a long one. So this is 333 pages. So a journey book can be longer. A novel you want as long as possible. So a journey book is kind of halfway between a how-to book and a novel. So for a how-to book, I'm recommending the pages be about 150 to 250 pages. So to get 150 to 250 pages, you can estimate that every Word document that you write is going to end up being about double in your book. So if it was just text alone, you would be looking for about half that amount. So if it's 150 pages in your finished book, it would be 75 pages in your Word doc. However, in a how-to book, you're going to do a lot of spacing, spreading things out. People don't want to see big chunks of copy. People want to see a lot of bullet points, a lot of spacing out. So it's going to spread out over more pages. So your actual text is probably going to take up about 50 pages, maybe 100 pages max of your Word document pages. And that's going to end up being 150 to 200 pages. And the word count on that is probably around 25,000 to 50,000 words text. So it's going to be much more spread out. When you're looking at a journey book, an experience book, this one is a journey. This is a slice of time. So this goes over several weeks. This one, Freaky Life Moments, is a collection of stories. So these are similar kind. They're not going to be as long as a novel, but they're not going to be as short as a how-to book. So for these, I'm recommending around 250 to 300 pages when you're finished. So this one is 298 when it's finished. This one's around 218 when it's finished. no, maybe this is a little longer, yeah. So you want around 250 to 350 pages when it's finished. And so you're going to need about half that in your Word document pages. So that would be like 125 to 175 Word document pages. And that would be about 60 to 80,000 words. In your journey book, you're not going to have the same kind of spreading out of text. So that's why you pretty much, the number of pages that you've got on your Word doc, you can pretty much double that, and that's going to be the number of pages in your book. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would write your book and then do the steps, follow the steps I'm talking about, get it down, and then as you're kind of getting near to the end and you're to the editing stage, have a look at your number of pages, have a look at your word count. In a how-to book, if you think it's getting to be a little bit too long, you want to cut down any fluff, and if you think it's a little too short, I wouldn't add fluff on a how-to book. I would maybe add some more spacing, make sure there's nothing you've left out, but I would not add kind of fluff on that. On the journey book, it could end up being a little too short, so make sure that it's going to be long enough. And you can, in a journey book, you can add in a description. So, how did it feel? How did it smell? What was I feeling? Describe things more, and that will kind of flesh it out. So there's, two different schools of thought on the how many pages. The only exception would be if in a how-to book, if you're talking about something like 101 ways to do something, or quotes, and you're going to give so many quotes, well, that's not really learning something. It's not a how-to book, and that you might want to have as long as possible, because the person getting the book is hoping to see as many of those things as possible. So if it's 100 affirmations, or many affirmations, they want to see as many as possible, and so that might be a book that's kind of an exception. So size does matter, and I'll get into also the actual size of the book, which is going to be important, especially if you're uploading to Amazon and you want to have that extended distribution. So we'll get into size a little bit later, but the actual dimensions. But right now we're just talking about how many words, how many pages.